So let's check out this Linux distribution that will remind you of macOS. What's up guys, it's Josh back with another video, and today I wanted to show you guys another Linux distribution, and this one is super cool. It's based on Ubuntu. It's been around for a while now, and they just released last month their 7th iteration of the distro, and this distribution is Elementary OS Horus, and you probably seen it down in the title of the video, so you know what it is. So let's go on and hop over to the website and check out Elementary OS 7 Horus. Before we move forward, I wanted to give a quick shout out to CIQ, the official partner of Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux is a Linux distribution that is intended to be a downstream complete binary compatible release using the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system source code. The project is led by Gregory Kurtzer, who was the founder of the CentOS project. So check out Rocky Linux at ciq.co. Alright, so this is elementary.io, and one thing I can say about this distribution, you know, they have a great website, they have great documentation and all that stuff. Everything is simple to use, it's very straightforward, and that's the purpose behind this distribution, is to make things super simple and very easy to use, from the installation to the desktop environment that they use or they created and developed. Everything is just very simple to use, and it's a super cool distro in my opinion. I think you guys really should check it out. But as you can see, it says Elementary OS, the thoughtful, capable, and ethical replacement for Windows and Mac OS. Now it says Windows in there, but to me it really reminds me of Mac OS, and I did a video on this distribution maybe close to 2 years now, and so it's been a while since I actually looked at it, but it looks awesome as ever. And like I said, if you want a distribution that's similar to Mac OS, that looks like Mac OS, you know, it's obviously not going to operate the same. You're not going to have the same software available to you as having a full-blown Mac OS, but you like that look, then this distribution is for you, as you can see from the images right here on the main page. Now, in order to download it, all you have to do is hit the purchase Elementary OS. Now you can donate to the project. That's the way they put it on here, so you can donate to the project, or you can go in here and put 0 if you want to get it for free, just to try it out and everything. But I do always try to tell people to, you know, support these projects, because these people put in a lot of work in developing these distributions and maintaining these distributions. You know, they don't get paid for this, you know what I'm saying? Everything that they get is from donations, you know, because it's a free and open source project. But let's click here, right here. I just want to show you guys the recommended system specifications. But as you can see, you need a recent Intel i3 or comparable dual core 64-bit processor, you know, at least 4 gigabytes of memory and 32 gigabits of free space, and preferably a SSD. That way it runs a little better. And then also you need internet access, you know, built-in wireless mouse, you know, a mouse, and as well as a display, obviously. So let's hop back over to the website, because I wanted to show you guys a little bit more, because I said, you know, Elementary OS 7 was just released, and it was released actually at the end of January, so a little over 2 weeks ago. And if we click here, I'll click on it just to go to this article, but you guys can check it out. But this is the article they put out based on the release. It says it's available now. So awesome distro. It covers like a lot of the changes in here, so definitely check this article out, you know what I'm saying, so you can get some background on everything dealing with Elementary OS. But let's go on and hop over to my virtual machine so we can get Elementary OS installed. Okay, cool. So once you get the ISO downloaded and written to a USB or DVD drive or something, if you have it, then this will pop up as soon as you boot up the system, as long as you have your BIOS and all that set up correctly to boot from whatever device you're using to install. This will pop up, and it's very simple. Like I said, their installer is super simple. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't take long to install, or at least, you know, the options that it gives you, it, you know, it makes everything super simple. So we're going to select our language, and then United States for me, and then our keyboard layout, and then also the input language. And then right here is basically how you want to install it. It's 3 different ways, and actually it's 2 different ways, but the first option up here is to try the demo mode. So that'll allow you to go into the live ISO. It'll boot up the operating system, you know, as if you have it installed, but everything is running from your device, whatever you're using, either the live USB or the live DVD that you're running it off of. Now here it goes straight to the install. So erase disk and install. You don't have to worry about the disk, you know, setup or anything like that. This will allow you to just install it and get it up and going. Now custom install, this allows you to modify your hard drives, so you do have that option if you want to, like set up your partitions the way you want to. Now we're going to select the erase disk and install, and it's going to ask us a few more options, and this is a warning that it'll give you, and this is mainly for a virtual machine. Since I'm running this in a virtual machine, it'll pop up with this, and it does this for everybody that's using like a virtual machine. You won't see it if you have it running on straight hardware. And basically what it says is some ports of elementary OS 7 HORS may run slowly, freeze, or not function properly. And I have experienced that playing around with elementary OS, so it's good they put that warning there, so I'll know that the things that I'm experiencing may not happen on the hardware. So let's go down and hit the install anyway. Boom. And then right here, this is just selecting that device. I have a 32 gigabyte, but it says 34 gigabyte virtual hard drive. So let's hit erase and install. And then they also have an encryption option. So if you want to enable this encryption, that way you can protect your data on the hard drive itself for the operating system, and it's locked behind a password, then you can definitely turn that on. Now all you have to do is hit choose password. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna not encrypt it, because like I said, I'm gonna destroy this after this. This is a virtual machine, so it really doesn't matter for me. Now let's hit don't encrypt, and it'll go through partition drives, extract all the data, and then go down and install the operating system. And one thing about this distro, it'll install everything, but you won't go through those other options that you typically see on other systems, as far as like setting up your location services and all that stuff, as well as the account, until you reboot the system. It will just install everything, reboot the system, and that's where we'll see where we set up our user account for the system and all that. And it's good to see that. Let's say you want to sell laptops or repurpose laptops. You can install the elementary OS, finish it, shut it down instead of rebooting it, and then whoever you're giving a computer to or setting it up for, they can create their accounts at that point. So it's almost like a computer that you buy out of the store. It already has the operating system set up, and you set up your account as soon as you boot up the operating system. But I'll be back when this finishes. Alright, cool. So the installation is done. All we have to do is restart the device, and it'll automatically restore for you, or you could just shut it down. And that's what I meant by, you know, setting it up for someone, you know, else. You know, they can then set up their accounts there by just hitting the shutdown button. So let's just go down and hit restart, or actually it's got a couple seconds, so I'll just let it go and restore it. So first thing it's going to do is ask you to remove the installation media, which pretty much all of them do that. Ubuntu, you know, pretty much most of them do that, ask you to remove the installation media, but you really don't have to. You can just hit enter. If it was a physical machine, it'll automatically, like if you had a disk, it'll automatically open the disk drive, and that's essentially what that's for. So it'll automatically open up your disk drive so you can remove the disk, and then you know, or the USB is just going to detach it, but it'll reattach it, which is fine. Now this looks kind of confusing when it comes back up. You'll think, oh, it's going back through the installation. Nah, for some reason they have it in there where it asks you for the language again. So all we have to do is select that same language, boom, as well as our keyboard layout, which you think it would, keep that information or keep that from what you did during the installation, but it's fine. That's good, like I said, for people that you may have set up the system for, so they can select what they want on it. You know what I'm saying? Now let's go down here, English on here, as well as our keyboard layout. Boom. Now, like I said, it's gonna pull up the create account section. So all you have to do is create that account, put in your name, whatever you want to put there, and your username could be different, and then type in your password and try to do something, super strong if you can. And then also you can name the device, so whatever you want the device name to be. Like I'm gonna put E and then capital OS for elementary OS, and then let's hit finish setup. And like I said, this right here, it says right here what the device name is for. It says visible to other devices when sharing with Bluetooth or over the network. So hit finish setup. It'll finish the full setup, and then it'll bring up the login screen. All right, cool. So let's go down and log into it using our password. And accounts don't take long to set up. You know what I'm saying? It's probably ran the add user account in the background, so super dope. Now let me fix the screen. I'll be right back. All right, cool. So the first thing that'll pop up when you log into the elementary OS for the first time, it'll have a welcome screen, and you can go through this. This will get basically your system set up. And the first thing it'll do is show you guys all the guides and documentation. So basic guides, community support. So it brings all that up. And then also you can get involved. You can donate to the project. You can also help with the development of the project as well if you want to. If you want to get into it and try to learn some programming language and add and improve to this project. Now you can skip all, because these are basically all the steps right here, these dots at the bottom. But let's go through them so you guys can see exactly what it sets up. So next is our theme. So you guys know I like dark themes, but for this one, since it got that macOS look to it, look and feel, then I'll just leave the default, the white theme. But you can also change your accent colors. And one cool thing about it, you got your automatic accents, and it's based on the wallpaper that you have on the system. But like I said, I always like the dark theme, but you're good. But one cool other option is the sunset or sunrise. So sunrise, it'll have more of a lighter theme, and then once you get later on in the evening and nighttime and stuff, it'll have the dark theme for you. And that's so it'll be easier on your eyes if you're looking at the desktop throughout the day. So let's hit next. And they do have the night light, and this is also to help you with eye strain as well as sleeplessness. But you can turn on the night light, and it'll adjust based on the schedule, of sunset, sunrise, and the location that you're in, to dim the colors in certain times of the day. So super cool. Now let's go down here next there. But you do have house cleaning. This is one cool feature that they have in the distribution as well, and it basically removes older files. So like if you download a lot of stuff and you never go back and delete any of that stuff is taking up space on your system. So they have an automatic delete for it, so it'll delete downloaded files after 30 days, as well as old temporary files and trash files, and it's mainly for your privacy. So let's hit next there. I'm not going to select the downloaded files because, like I said, I'm going to destroy this. I'm just going through it so you guys can see. But let's hit next. But you do have your online accounts, and this is similar to, Ubuntu has the same thing. A lot of these distributions have the same thing. So you can connect your online accounts to the system itself, and that helps with mail, calendars, tasks, all the stuff that kind of you will see in Mac OS as well as Windows. It'll sync your email, all that stuff to your system, and you get the alerts on the system, so to help manage those online accounts. Now let's hit next there. But here is our app center, and I was going to show you that in a second. I'll show you guys that next, but you can click here and that'll take you straight to the app center, so you can get whatever applications you want installed on the system. Now let's go down, hit next there, and then here are the automatic updates. So this will allow your system to automatically update. I'm gonna leave it off for right now because I'm gonna run all the updates. but let's hit next, and then right here it says ready to go. So you can open up the system settings, but let's go on and open that up, and let's close that welcome, and let's open up that, go back to that welcome screen so we can go down and close it. So let's hit get started, but I want to go right into the system settings, and as you can see, similar to GNOME, it looks exactly the same. Now one thing about the desktop environment, because it does use a modified like version of GNOME, it's basically they took the base of GNOME and built upon that and created their own desktop environment. And just so you guys know, the desktop environment is Pantheon. So it's totally different desktop environment. They just took like the bare bones of GNOME and built upon it and created their own desktop environment, which is super dope. That's what you can do with free and open source software. If you have an idea for an application or something, you can use those base features of an already existing desktop environment and create your own. Like one of the things that actually stands out on Pantheon is up here at the top panel. This is essentially a panel, but you can't see it because it's transparent, but that's essentially a panel up there, the same, like similar to XFCE or GNOME. You know, you have your panel at the top, you can't see the panel at all. They make it transparent, so you have all your applications up here, or settings up here, you know, sitting on top of it, like floating almost. So now just a little more on the system settings, but you have everything you can basically do with the system. So applications, desktop, I won't go through all of it, but display, printer settings, you know, all the base system settings you could do. And you can also click on, like, go in here to the system and you can see what version you have. Like this is the operating system, elementary OS 7 Horus, built on Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. So yeah, that's one major thing about this release, is built on top of 22.04, which is the long-term supported release. And also it uses the kernel of Linux 5.15. And then you can also go through and check out your hardware, what's on the actual system. I got 8 gigabytes of memory, you know, it's a virtual machine. So and then your firmware updates, so you can do firmware updates here as well. And then it'll take you to the website, just going back to the operating system tab, but you can go to the website, you know, get started, you know, suggest translation, send feedback, you know, check for updates, all that stuff from here. Now I'm not going to check for the updates there. I'm gonna go down and close this and open up our app center, and this is super dope. Super dope. App Center has its suggestions on the front page. You can search, you can filter, you know, go through and find whatever you need from here. Now updates, all you gotta do is hit here. That'll open up to see if you have any updates, and right now you got like 43 updates on the system. And you guys know I like to do things from the command line, so we're gonna go and open up the terminal right fast and run our updates. So all we have to do is type sudo apt updates, and one thing I want to do is install our application before I run the upgrade command. So let's type in our sudo password, let it refresh. Even though it refreshed over here, it's really refreshed. We don't really have to do it because it ran it as soon as we open up that, but that's fine. I'll just run it again. And one application I want to install right fast is NeoFetch, and I'll just install it before we go to the back to the app center. So just press enter, it'll go through, download that package for us, and then go through and install that package for us, and then I'll run the upgrades after that to all the other applications that are on there. And this application doesn't take super long to install. I just wanted to show you guys it right fast, and I'll come back when it finishes. All right, cool. So NeoFetch is installed. Let's go down and run the upgrade command right fast so we can get everything else updated on the system. Boom. So we'll run that in the background, but one other thing I wanted to do was open up another tab in here under my terminal and run NeoFetch, because I like to look at it. I like to show you guys what's on the system via NeoFetch, even though, you know, we saw a lot of it under the system settings, but you can see a little bit more, a little bit different here. So the OS, obviously elementary OS, but wanted to show you guys the kernel again, so 5.15, and then the amount of packages that are on here, as well as Flatpaks. So it comes with around 1600 packages on here and 11 Flatpaks. And then also, this is one way to find the desktop environment that you're using. So Pantheon is using Pantheon, and then Mutter for the window manager. And then the themes, you can check those out as well. You can modify those if you want to, change them up, but it's using the elementary theme and elementary icons. And then the rest of it is kind of hardware. It talks about the terminal, so I use that elementary terminal. That's what this is. And then one thing I missed up here at the top is Bash. It's using Bash. So and then also rest of it, like I said, was hardware. So let's go down and exit that out. I just wanted to at least show you guys that and let those updates run on the system. Now let's go down and close this because we don't need it anymore. I just kind of wanted to show you guys how to install applications. But one other cool thing about the desktop environment, you know, everything down here is on this launcher, just like it kind of looks like macOS, and that's why I compare it more to macOS than anything else. But let's check out what browser we got on here. I'm not even sure what the browser is, but let's go down and look at it and see what this is. So, and this is basically the GNOME web browser. So and it's, I believe this one is Chrome based. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but this is the GNOME browser. I do, you know that. And this is cool. It gives you updates when you're running updates or running things in the background. It'll tell you what's going on if it completed something. It'll give you those alerts. That's one cool thing about it. That's what I was running in the terminal. That command, it tells you that it completed. So super dope. And all we got to do is exit that out and we're good to go. But I just wanted to check it out. And most of this stuff is GNOME based. And for the mail, I believe it uses the elementary OS mail application. So super dope. But I won't go through it because it's all tied to your online accounts. And like I said, once you tie in your accounts, you know, everything as far as like the calendar, tasks, all that stuff will be using those accounts. You know what I'm saying? So it's super dope, super simple, you know, to use. So that's all I wanted to show you guys. Elementary OS is a super cool distribution, super simple to use. I definitely recommend you guys check it out, especially if you want something super easy to set up and go through and use. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about doing a whole bunch of configuring. You know, it'll just be up and it'll work, and all you got to do is, you know, manage your updates and install whatever applications you need, and the application will run perfectly. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you can, go down and leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, recommend some of the distributions that you guys want me to look at. The next one I'm planning on looking at is Blend OS, which is an Arch-based Linux distro that looks super cool as well. So we'll check that one out in a future video. But I hope you guys have a wonderful and productive day. And of course, keep it technical.